Good morning, students. This is Asha, your social science teacher. Today, we are going to start with geography. Geography, chapter 1, environment. So, children, what does come to your mind when you hear a word environment? I think what's first thing which comes around in your mind would be surrounding. So, let's try to understand this by a story of a Ravi. Ravi is a normal student. He's coming back after a long vacation. So when he goes to school, he notices there was a playground and it has been dug up. And he was very upset by seeing that because it was the only playground in that area. And all children loved playing over there. He discussed this issue with his classmates, friends, everyone like that. The only playground which was there, it's been dug up and now they are going to construct huge buildings over there. And they will no longer will be able to play in that ground. So he goes to school, attends an assembly, and over there in assembly, principal gives him speech about environment and says, nowadays our environment is changing. Then he becomes curious, and he asked his teacher what exactly environment is. So teacher says, whatever you see in your surrounding is an environment. So he was in class, so he saw benches, table, chair, blackboard, building, playground, tree. So he asked teacher, all these things are environment. Teacher says, yes, they all are environment, but there is a different. Bench, table, chair, all this come in a separate category, whereas plants, animal, they come under separate category. So he was a bit curious. How come? So we will try to understand what environment is and how it can be further understood. Right? So let's discuss about the word environment in itself first. What exactly environment is? Environment actually is a French word environ. It has been derived from French word environ, which means neighborhood or surrounding. It refers to surrounding with which organisms exist. And this surrounding can be natural or man-made or artificial. So components of environment can broadly be classified into three categories: natural, human and human-made. So we'll study the components of environment. Here you can see a nice picture of components of environment. Here you can see natural. So natural environment consists of water bodies, air, atmosphere, land, lithosphere, and living organism. So by these four examples, you could be clear. Living things and this land, air, water, they are non-living. So natural environment can further be understood as living and non-living. So we broadly classify them into biotic and abiotic. The world of living organisms, example plants and animals, are called biotic, and the world of non-living elements is called abiotic. Now let's move on to the next component, which is human made. It's, as the name suggests, human made. It is made by humans. You can see here building, then you can see here park, bridges, roads, monuments, industry. All these are made by human beings. So these are human made environment. Now let's move on to the next, which is human environment. So in this human environment, an individual, a family, community, social gathering, school, country, religion, all these are part of human environment, right? It's the environment in which lives, and the above these bridges and road, it's are made by human. So I hope you understand the difference between human and human made. Human environment is when in which human beings live and exist, and human made is which Human make for their existence, for their life simpler. They make few things. That is human made. Right? Let's move on to the next. So, what we have understood till now, natural environment, which is further classified into abiotic and biotic. So, the abiotic environment comprises of inorganic or non-living things in environment, and based on physical state characters it is divided into lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere. As we discussed here, lithosphere all land, atmosphere air, and hydrosphere water. So we'll be studying about these three things in detail and their uses, right? And the biotic environment consists of the environment that relates to living organism is called biotic environment. Now let's move on to next topic. Hope you're clear with this. It's domains of earth. So you can see there are four domains. One is lithosphere, land, hydrosphere, water, and then atmosphere, the air. And you can see a circle around here in between. It's the narrow zone where all three zones meet and interact and gives a life form. It is called biosphere, right? So these are the main four domains: lithosphere, land, hydrosphere, water, atmosphere, air, and biosphere, where living organisms exist. So now we'll study each of the domain one by one. So let's move on to the first domain, which is lithosphere. It is the most important zone or the domain of earth. It is basically a solid crust of top layer of the hard top layer of the earth. It is made up of rocks, minerals covered by thin layer of soil. It is irregular in shape with various landforms such as mountains, plateaus, plains, valleys. You must have studied in grade 6 that there are three types of landforms: mountains, plateaus, and plains. In detail, you studied about them. So, all these are part of lithosphere only, right? So, where exactly do we find landforms? Landforms are found over continents. We have 7 continents. They are all landforms only, lithosphere and ocean floors. Lithosphere is the domain which provides us forest, grasslands for grazing, land for agriculture, and human settlement. We human beings live on land only. So lithosphere is very important for us. It gives us forest. You do agriculture on it, plus our house, building, schools, everything is on land only. So it is the most important zone. At the same time, it is also source of mineral wealth. Lots of minerals like your iron, copper, many minerals, all the metals, non-metals which we see, most of them are found on lithosphere only. So it's very important. Lithosphere is very important zone of earth. Now let's move on to the next zone, which is hydrosphere. It is the domain of water referred to as hydrosphere, which includes rivers, lakes, sea, and ocean. So all these come under hydrosphere. And you must have studied first form of life on earth came in water only. Water favors the growth of evolution of life on earth. Water is available in three forms on earth. It is solid, you can see ice, liquid, water, and gaseous form, that is water vapor. And this mainly in these three forms, water, hydrosphere or water is found on earth, and fresh water is available on land through a process of water cycle. From grade 4 and 5 you must be studying water cycle, how water cycle goes and the fresh water comes back to earth. From ocean it goes to forms cloud, precipitation, condensation, the whole process, and then water comes back on earth. Okay, So children, let's quickly recap what we studied today. We studied environment. We defined environment, what it is. We studied its component, natural, human, human-made in detail. What all are the different components of environment. Then we studied natural environment, biotic, abiotic, and then we moved on to domains of Earth, lithosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere, and biosphere. And we discussed lithosphere and hydrosphere today. In tomorrow's lecture, we'll discuss atmosphere, biosphere, ecosystem, and a food chain in detail. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you.